Hello, and welcome to the AI Lab by Optas.ai. This is episode 7, and today we're talking about AI agents versus AI chatbots, what the difference is, and why it matters. These two terms are often used interchangeably, but they are not exactly the same. While chatbots are designed mainly to respond to questions and conversations, AI agents can go a step further by taking action, making decisions, and helping automate tasks. In this episode, we'll break down the difference in a simple way and look at why understanding it matters for businesses, teams, and everyday users. Let's get into it.
Imagine waking up, pouring your morning coffee, opening your laptop, and discovering that your company credit card is completely maxed out.
Oh no.
Right? And why? Because someone autonomously ordered 10,000 staplers overnight. And here's the kicker. It wasn't a disgruntled employee playing a prank. That was your brand new AI.
Yeah, that is a very specific and very expensive nightmare. But it's a surprisingly realistic one, if you don't actually understand the tools you were deploying.
Well, welcome to today's deep dive. If you are listening to this right now, you are likely someone who wants to cut through the massive wall of tech noise to actually get things done.
Exactly.
You want to upgrade your workflow, maybe automate some of the grunt work. But when you step into the world of artificial intelligence right now, you are standing in a hardware store where all the labels have just been peeled off and tossed in a blender.
That is a great way to put it.
Every software company is shouting that their new feature is a smart assistant or a co-pilot, a chatbot, or an agent. And the marketing makes it sound like these terms mean the exact same thing.
Which is incredibly misleading. And honestly, for anyone trying to build a business or streamline a team right now, that confusion is, it's more than just an annoying quirk of Silicon Valley jargon.
Yeah.
It is a structural risk.
Right.
If you treat a chatbot like an agent, or an agent like a chatbot, you end up making one of two critical mistakes.
You either underbuild or you overbuild.
Exactly.
You underbuild by deploying a weak tool for a really complex job, which means you end up babysitting the software constantly, which totally defeats the whole purpose of automation.
Yeah.
Or you overbuild. You introduce this massive, fragile, overly complex autonomous system into a workflow that really just needed a simple conversational FAQ fix. And that burns your time, it bleeds your budget, and it ruins your results.
Which brings us to our mission for today. We are unpacking a really insightful breakdown titled AI Agents versus AI Chatbots, from dialogue to autonomy.
Good title.
Yeah. We're going to strip away the marketing gloss, look under the hood at the actual mechanics of how these systems operate, and give you a rock-solid framework. By the end of this, you will know exactly how to look at a task on your to-do list and know precisely which piece of software belongs in your toolkit to solve.
Okay, let's unpack this. Before we get into the really complex multi-step workflows, we need to establish the baseline. We have to understand why these two things are fundamentally different species of software.
Right.
So think of it this way. A chatbot is like a brilliantly well-read librarian. You walk up to the reference desk, you ask a highly specific question, and the librarian points you to the exact right book on the 3rd floor. Maybe they even summarize the first chapter for you. It's incredibly helpful.
Sure.
But an agent is the eager research assistant who not only finds the book, but reads it, synthesizes the core arguments, formats the citations in APA style, and then emails the final draft to your boss while you are fast asleep.
I love that. That analogy captures the fundamental divide perfectly, which is talk versus action.
Talk versus action, right?
Yeah, let's look at the baseline mechanics of a chatbot first. An AI chatbot is essentially a conversational software program. It uses natural language processing to understand what you type and generate a response. But let's clarify what natural language processing actually means in practice.
Yeah, please.
It doesn't understand you the way a human does, right? It breaks your sentence down into mathematical tokens, analyzes the statistical probability of your intent based on just massive amounts of training data, and then it generates a string of words that form a probabilistically likely and helpful response.
So it's an incredibly sophisticated illusion of comprehension.
It is a very useful illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. And the key limitation of this model is that the conversation is the product.
Okay.
Chatbots are fundamentally reactive. They sit quietly, bounded inside that little chat window on your screen, just waiting for you. Whether it is a simple customer service bot on a retail website or a highly advanced large language model, it requires a human prompt at every single exchange. If you stop typing, the chatbot goes dormant.
It's basically a tennis match. The chatbot can only hit the ball if I serve it over the net first. If I drop my racket and walk off the court, the game is over.
That is the operational boundary, exactly. But an AI agent operates on an entirely different software paradigm. An agent is an autonomous system. It isn't just generating text in a vacuum. It is designed to perceive an environment, make independent decisions, and take concrete actions to achieve a broad goal.
Okay.
You don't serve the ball over the net. You tell the agent to win the tournament. And it figures out how to play the matches, book the flights, and hire the coach. They are proactive, they're unbounded by a single chat window, and they operate across multiple steps with little to no human involvement.
See, I am stuck on the taking concrete actions part. I think this is where a lot of people get lost.
Sure.
If software usually needs rigid line-by-line code to function, and an agent is basically powered by a language model that just, predicts words, how does it actually do things? How does generating words translate into clicking a button on a website or sending an email? Because that feels a bit like magic.
It does feel like magic, right up until you break down the specific operational loop that agents use to bridge the gap between text and action. Most autonomous AI agents operate within a framework called the PPAE cycle. That stands for Perceive, Plan, Act, and Evaluate.
Perceive, plan, act, evaluate. Walk me through that. If I deploy an agent today to do some heavy lifting for me, what is actually happening in the background?
Let's apply it to a tangible goal. Let's say you give your agent this prompt. Research the top 5 competitors in our market and summarize their pricing models.
Okay.
That broad instruction is the trigger. The agent begins with step 1, which is perceive. It parses your prompt, identifies the core objective, and establishes the parameters. It knows it needs to find 5 specific entities, extract numerical data, and compile a summary.
So it understands the destination. But unlike a chatbot, it doesn't just spit out a generic answer based on old training data.
Right, it moves to step 2, which is plan. The agent engages in a process called chain of thought reasoning. It takes that massive abstract goal and autonomously breaks it down into a sequence of logical, manageable subtasks.
Okay, so it makes a list.
Exactly. It decides, first, I need to execute a web search to identify the competitors. Second, I need to isolate their URLs. Third, I need to navigate to those sites and scrape the pricing pages. Fourth, I need to structure that unstructured data into a comparison. Fifth, I need to draft the final summary. It essentially writes its own execution roadmap.
Okay, so it has a to-do list, but we are back to my sticking point here. Step 3 is act. How does a text-based AI navigate to a URL and scrape a page?
This is where we cross from dialogue to autonomy. The agent achieves this through something called function calling.
Function calling.
Yeah, the underlying AI model isn't just trained on conversational English, it's trained on massive libraries of programming languages. When the agent reaches the acts phase, it doesn't write an English sentence. It generates a small executable script, maybe a snippet of Python code or a structured JSON object.
Oh, wow.
And that code snippet is sent to an external tool, like a headless web browser or an API, which physically executes the command on the web. The AI generates the command, the external tool performs the action, and then feeds the result back to the AI.
So it is essentially growing temporary digital hands. It writes the code to push the button, pushes the button, and reads what happens next.
That is the perfect way to visualize it.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the final and arguably most important step, which is evaluate.
Let's test that. Say it's using those digital hands to browse a competitor's website, but the pricing page has been moved. It hits a 404 broken link error. A traditional software script would just crash right there, right? It would throw an error code and wait for a human developer to fix it.
What's fascinating here is that the agent evaluates that failure in real time. It reads the 404 error, recognizes that subtask number 3 failed, and it does not give up. It pivots.
Really?
Yeah, just as internal plan. It generates a new search query to look for cached versions of the site or moves on to the next competitor while flagging the missing data.
It's like a robotic vacuum, like a Roomba. When a Roomba bumps into a wall, it doesn't just shut down and wait for you to move the couch. It registers the obstacle, turns 15 degrees, and keeps vacuuming the rest of the living room.
A highly persistent digital Roomba. I like that. This perceive, plan, act, evaluate loop spins continuously. And the agent relies on persistent memory to do this.
Right.
Because a chatbot generally has session-based memory, right? You close the browser tab, and it basically develops amnesia. An agent maintains persistent contextual memory across hours or days of a task. It remembers what it tried an hour ago, what worked and what failed, adjusting its strategy until the overarching goal is met. or until it concludes it is completely blocked and pings you for help.
Let's put some stakes on this and see what this actually looks like in a daily workflow, because the theory is fascinating, but the real ROI comes from knowing when to deploy which system.
Definitely.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's put these two in the ring together and look at a few real-world scenarios. Scenario 1, a customer inquiry about an order.
This is a classic high-volume issue for any business. If you deploy a chatbot here, a customer messages your website saying, "Where is my order?" The chatbot processes the intent, asks the customer for their order number, checks that string of numbers against your internal database, retrieves a status that says "in transit," and relays that to the customer. End of transaction.
Right.
It is helpful, it saves human time, but it is purely informational.
But if you have an agent handling that exact same inquiry, the scope of the resolution expands dramatically. The agent checks the order status, but it doesn't just parrot "in transit." It evaluates the data and recognizes that the packet hasn't moved in 4 days. It autonomously contacts the shipping courier's API.
Let me pause you there, because APIs are the lifeblood of agents. If you aren't familiar, an API, an application programming interface, is basically a secure digital bridge that allows two completely different software systems to talk to each other without needing a human user interface.
So the agent uses that bridge to query FedEx directly. It pulls the internal logistics data, realizes there was a weather delay in Chicago, and gets a revised ETA. Then it drafts a personalized, empathetic apology to the customer, provides the updated delivery window, and maybe even issues a 10% discount code for the inconvenience.
Exactly.
And finally, it navigates into your company's CRM, logs the entire interaction under the customer's profile, and sets an automated reminder for a human rep to follow up next week.
Notice the vast difference in utility there. The starting trigger, the customer asking about an order, is identical, but the chatbot merely answered a question. The agent autonomously resolved a multifaceted customer retention problem.
That is wild. Let's look at scenario 2, generating a competitive analysis report.
Okay.
If I open a standard chatbot interface and say, summarize the major players in the CRM software space, it relies heavily on its static training data. It will give me a very polite, articulate, well-structured response. But that data might be 6 months old. And crucially, the output is just sitting there in my chat window. The task isn't done. I still have to copy the text, open a document, paste it, format the headers, double-check the facts, and save it to the company drive.
Whereas if you assign that prompt to a fully autonomous agent, it orchestrates a workflow. It searches the live web for real-time pricing updates from today. It cross-references those numbers against recent financial news to ensure accuracy. It synthesizes the findings, opens a connection to your Google Workspace, creates a new document, applies your company's formatting templates, inserts the data, and saves the file directly into your team's shared folder.
Oh, wow.
You don't execute a single click beyond typing the initial instruction.
You literally go grab a coffee, and when you sit back down, the final report is waiting in your folder.
Exactly.
Okay, scenario 3, sales lead follow-up. You have a form on your website, a chatbot pops up, qualifies the visitor with a few automated questions, collects their email address, and says, thanks, our team will be in touch. It's essentially interactive data entry.
Right. But an agent treats that email address as a starting line, not a finish line. It takes that email and instantly begins data enrichment. It queries LinkedIn and public business databases to identify the person's job title, their company size, and recent company news.
Sneaky.
Very. It runs all that contextual data through your specific sales criteria to assign a lead score. If the score is high enough, it creates a new profile in Salesforce, drafts a highly tailored outreach email referencing the prospect's recent product launch, schedules that email to be sent at a high conversion time, and drops a briefing document into your sales rep's Slack channel.
It is functioning as a junior sales development representative.
Yes, it is.
In all 3 scenarios, the input is exactly the same: a customer question, a boss's request, a collected email. But the output from the agent fundamentally changes the labor dynamics of your business.
Because the architecture of an agent is biased toward execution, whereas the architecture of a chatbot is biased toward communication.
Okay, I have to challenge this clean dividing line for a second. The tech industry moves at breakneck speed. If you look at the flagship tools today, like ChatGPT or Claude, they are not just static text boxes anymore.
That's true.
ChatGPT can search the live web. Claude has introduced capabilities where it can literally look at your screen. Are these strict definitions just collapsing into one another?
You are absolutely right to point out that convergence, the strict binaries, are dissolving, and we are entering the era of what the industry calls agentic chatbots.
Agentic chatbots.
Yeah, the major AI labs are grafting agentic capabilities onto conversational interfaces. Take Claude's computer use feature as a prime example. It maintains the friendly conversational chat window, but under the hood, it is executing complex agentic mechanics. It takes screenshots of your desktop, calculates the exact pixel coordinates of an icon, and directs the operating system to physically move the mouse cursor and click. It is an agent masquerading as a chatbot.
So there are chatbots that have suddenly sprouted those digital hands we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
If the tools are merging, the old question of do I buy a bot or an agent seems obsolete. What is the better question for someone trying to figure out their software stack today?
The question you need to ask your team is, how much autonomy does this specific workflow actually require?
Let's make that actionable. If I'm a small business owner listening right now, or just a busy manager trying to clear my plate, what is the practical framework? How do I look at my messy to-do list and apply this?
The rule of thumb here is brilliantly simple, and it comes down entirely to the final desired state of the task. If the task ends with an answer, you use a chatbot. If the task ends with an action, you need an agent.
I want to highlight that. If it ends with an answer, use a bot. If it ends with an action, use an agent. That cuts right through all the marketing noise.
It clarifies the whole landscape. If you need to instantly answer shipping FAQs, act as a virtual receptionist booking appointments, quickly qualify incoming website traffic, or brainstorm marketing copy with your team, those workflows all conclude with information being exchanged.
Right.
Chatbots are the perfect tool. They are fast, highly accessible, and incredibly cheap to deploy. You can rely on the conversational interfaces of ChatGPT or Claude, or integrate purpose-built platforms like Tidio or Intercom.
But if I am looking at a task that requires integrating data across 3 different platforms, or autonomously managing my inbox and drafting replies based on my calendar, or dynamically updating inventory spreadsheets, those end with a completed, concrete action. I need an agent.
Exactly.
But here's the friction. If I'm listening to this and I don't have a computer science degree, deploying an autonomous agent sounds intimidating. I don't know how to write Python scripts or configure APIs.
And that is the biggest misconception holding people back right now. You do not need to be a developer to leverage this.
No.
The toolkit for building agents has become incredibly visual and accessible. Yeah. While there are highly complex platforms like Devon for software engineers, there is an entire ecosystem of no-code automation platforms. If you could draw a flowchart on a whiteboard, you can build an agent today.
Which is incredibly empowering. But, and there is a massive but looming over this entire conversation, handing over the keys to a system that can take independent action in the real world comes with serious vulnerability.
Oh, absolutely.
Having a digital assistant executing tasks while I sleep sounds like a dream, right up until it turns into the nightmare we talked about at the beginning of the show.
This raises an important question, right? The risks scale exponentially with the level of independence you grant the system. You have to approach this with your eyes wide open.
Let's compare the failure states, because a chatbot messing up is annoying, but an agent messing up feels dangerous.
They belong to 2 completely different risk categories. Chatbot risks are almost entirely contained within the conversational window. The most common issue is a hallucination, which is when the AI confidently generates a plausible sounding but factually incorrect answer.
Right.
Or it might fail to navigate a highly sensitive customer grievance with the appropriate nuance and empathy.
Right. If a chatbot hallucinating means it tells a website visitor your return policy is 60 days instead of 30 days, well, that is an embarrassing customer service fumble. You honor the refund, you lose a little bit of margin on one item, and you update the prompt. The blast radius is incredibly small.
Yes.
But an agent hallucinating.
An agent doesn't just hallucinate answers, it hallucinates actions. This brings us back to your opening scenario. An agent might misinterpret an inventory threshold query, spin up a flawed plan, and automatically purchase 10,000 staplers on the corporate card. Or FAR. It could be tasked with organizing client folders, scrape highly sensitive financial data, misidentify the recipient, and autonomously email a spreadsheet of social security numbers to the wrong client.
The blast radius isn't contained to a chat window, it is kinetic. It hits your bank account, your data security, and your legal compliance.
Exactly, because to make an agent useful, you have to give it broad access to your proprietary systems. You are giving it read and write permissions to your CRM, your email server, your financial software. You are drastically expanding the attack surface for bad actors who might try to use prompt injection to hijack your agent.
And there's a transparency issue too, right? The black box problem.
It is a massive vulnerability. When a chatbot gives you a weird answer, you can usually look at the prompt history and figure out where the confusion started. When an agent executes a silent, invisible 15-step process in the background while you are asleep and the final output is disastrous, auditing why it made a specific algorithmic decision at step 7 is incredibly difficult.
Oh, I see.
Furthermore, if you over-rely on these autonomous systems and remove humans entirely from the loop, you introduce a deep fragility into your organization. If the API bridge breaks and no human employee actually remembers how to manually process the workflow, your operations are paralyzed.
So the idea of set it and forget it is a myth. Guardrails, monitoring, and escalation protocols are absolute mandates. You cannot just unleash an agent. You have to build in checkpoints where the system pauses its PPAE loop and pings a human for approval before taking any high-stakes actions like transferring funds or sending mass external communications.
Human in the loop is non-negotiable for high-stakes workflows.
So what does this all mean? If we pull all of this together and zoom out, the distinction between AI agents and AI chatbots isn't just a debate for software engineers. It is the foundational framework for how you build your workflows over the next 5 years.
Well said.
Chatbots are your communicators. They use dialogue to exchange information. Agents are your executors. They use autonomy to complete actions. Start with the problem you want to solve. Figure out if the desired outcome is an answer or an action, and then pick your tool. Don't buy a shiny piece of AI tech and go wandering around your business looking for a problem to solve with it.
That is the perfect distillation. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought regarding that black box problem of transparency we just discussed.
Okay.
As agents become exponentially more capable, executing tens of thousands of invisible microtasks, writing scripts, and querying APIs every single minute, manual human oversight will become mathematically impossible. Our brains simply cannot process a log of 50,000 API calls to hunt for a subtle error.
We would be the bottleneck in our own automated systems.
Precisely, which means we are rapidly approaching a threshold where the only way to safely monitor our working AI agents is with more AI. Yes, we will likely need to employ specialized auditor agents, autonomous systems, whose entire singular existence is dedicated to policing, monitoring, and decoding the behavior of our executing agents. We're looking at a near future where the primary role of artificial intelligence isn't just interacting with humans, but negotiating with, managing, and auditing other artificial intelligence.
We hire the robotic builders, and then we have to hire the robotic building inspectors just to make sure they poured the digital concrete correctly.
Exactly.
That is a wild, slightly dizzying paradigm shift to chew on. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the mechanics of autonomy. Before you close out the app today, take one look at your own to-do list. Find that one frustrating, repetitive bottleneck that drains your energy every week and ask yourself, does this just need an answer or does it require an action? Do I need a librarian or is it finally time to hire the assistant? Keep asking the right questions and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Thank you for listening to episode 7 of the AI Lab. Please subscribe for more, and we invite you to join our community of learners by signing up to receive your free resource guide. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to contact@optas.ai. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode of the AI Lab.